What a crazy housing market we have right now. So for example, there's approximately 450,000 fewer houses for sale nationwide this February compared to the average February in 2017 through 2019. But home buying conditions have improved somewhat because there's approximately 15% more homes for sale in the United States here compared to the same time frame 1 year ago. Now, part of the reason why inventory or the number of houses for sale has increased year over year is because the number of newly listed houses for sale is higher than it was 12 months ago. So in today's video, I'm going to share this brand new report from Realtor.com that covers the entire month of February. This is actually the first report I've seen which covers February's numbers because most companies, such as the National Association of Realtors, will not publish February's numbers for another couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I have a lot to share. And by the way, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. If you guys get any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing as well because I post frequent, unbiased housing market reports so you guys can be more informed. With that said, let's begin today's video here. It says the spring home buying season or the spring housing market could shape up to provide home shoppers or home buyers with a more plentiful supply of less expensive houses than we saw last year. As the number of newly listed houses for sale, in other words, the number of new listings has significantly increased, median listing price or asking price growth rate has slowed, and the share of home listing price reductions or price drops has increased to the highest February levels since 2019. However, as I mentioned, overall inventory still remains less affordable and more scarce than previous pre-pandemic years. It goes on to say that there was approximately 14.5% more homes for sale this February compared to the same time frame 1 year ago, marking the fourth consecutive month of annual inventory growth. They also break this down by how each of the 50 biggest metros fared because inventory increased in 29 of the 50 biggest metros. In fact, the biggest growth rates were seen in Orlando, rising by 38.5%. Then we have Miami and Tampa, Florida, all located in Florida. The top three markets experienced the biggest increases of inventory year over year. Now, despite this higher inventory growth on a national level compared to a year ago, most US metros still were lower compared to pre-COVID levels. In fact, among the 50 biggest metros, there was only 3 that experienced gains compared to 2017 through 2019. Those were all located in Texas. In fact, it was San Antonio up by 27.6%. That is absolutely wild. So they have approximately 28% more homes for sale in San Antonio, Texas, compared to the average pre-COVID levels. Austin, Texas increased by 11%, and then Dallas rose by 2.2%. Now here's a chart showing inventory levels on a national level. And this is a chart I showed at the very beginning of this video here. So this February, which is right here, we have approximately 665,000 more homes for sale nationwide. That's a gain of 14.8%. So during the same time frame, we're at least a 3-year high because this pink line right here, or light red, is last year. The green line's 2021. And of course, the very bottom here is 2022, where we had very, very low levels of houses for sale. So even though we have more homes for sale compared to post-COVID levels, we're still well below what we should be seeing during 2017, 19, and 2018, when that time there's around 1.1 million homes for sale. So now we have about 40% less at around 665,000. So big picture here, it's great to see there's more houses for sale compared to the past several years, but we're still very much lagging behind what we should be seeing on a historical level here. Let's also talk about the number of pending listings. And this is another word for saying the number of houses under contract with a home buyer. After the home seller accepts an offer from home buyer, that's a pending home sale, because that decreased by 0.8% year over year. Now, this is a little bit tricky here because one thing that I really noticed was this right here. Let me just share the chart with you guys right now here. So pending listings, again, decreased by 0.8% year over year, more or less in line with what we saw in 2023, which is the pink line right here. So the number of pending listings is, of course, lower compared to 2020, 2022, and 2021. Now, here's what I really found to be really interesting and quite remarkable, because this is showing here that we have more pending listings compared to 2017, 18, and 19. But keep in mind, we have approximately 15% more houses for sale year over year, but we're down by about 40% from 2017 through 2019. So big picture here, we have more houses under contract with a buyer, pending listings from pre-pandemic levels, even though we have approximately 40% fewer houses for sale during that same time frame. To me, this implies that our housing market is still competitive if we have more houses under contract right now, even though we have far fewer homes available for sale compared to 17 through 2019. Okay, let's change gears slightly here and talk about the number of newly listed houses for sale, or new listings. In February, 44 of those 50 biggest metros here saw new listings increase on a year-over-year basis. The metros that saw the largest growth rates were Seattle, rising by 42%. Then we have Minneapolis and Tampa. In contrast, the biggest decreases of the number of newly listed houses were actually the biggest in Milwaukee, down 19%. Then we have Hartford, Connecticut, and New York, New York. They also provide a chart going back to 2017 as well regarding new listings. So new listings increased by 11.3% year over year, but still much less than what we should be seeing during this time frame. So right now there's around 340,000 new listings this February, but in 2017 and 2018, there was around 425,000. So big picture, what this is telling me is that we still have this lock-in effect in which homeowners have 3 and 4% rates, and they're deciding to hold on to their houses and not take on a 7% rate. It is easing somewhat though, because again, we're still up by 11% year over year. That's encouraging. If you guys want to see home prices decrease, or you want to see more options, of course, we want to see this number, or this line right here basically going straight up. And we should start seeing the trajectory of our housing market once we get into March and April into May, which is our traditional strong home buying season. So for example, in Sacramento, California, where I live and work as a real estate agent covering the greater region here, we tend to have the maximum amount of newly listed houses in May each and every year. So having more listings is obviously good news if you're a home buyer. The downside though is that during the spring home buying season, that's when we tend to have a lot of competition, because we have an increase of new listings, but we also have an increase of home buyers as well. Let's also talk about days in the market, which is a time frame when a homeowner lists their house for sale until they accept an offer from home buyer. So days in the market was at 61 days this February, which is only 4 days shorter compared to February of 2023. So houses selling slightly faster compared to 12 months ago, but still selling about 17 days faster than the average February from 2017 through 2019. On top of that, a time in the market, or days in the market, decreased compared to last year in 37 of the 50 biggest US metros. Time in the market decreased the most in Las Vegas, down 25 days. This means in Las Vegas that houses are selling about 3 weeks faster compared to the same time frame in 2023. After that, we have Raleigh, North Carolina, St. Louis, Missouri, and Phoenix, Arizona, selling about 16 days faster year over year. Let's change gears slightly here and talk about home prices and also housing affordability is still a very, very big issue here. The national median list price, this is the median asking price of houses being listed for sale on national level, began to increase seasonally. These are not seasonally adjusted. It rose to $415,500 this February, an increase from August at about $409,000. Also, the median list price remained relatively stable compared to the same time frame last year, only increasing by 0.3%. So asking prices year over year are basically flat on a national level here. On top of that, the required household income to purchase the median price home in America rose by $4,400 to $86,100. This means if you want to buy an average price home in the United States, you need an income in order to qualify or in order to have a affordable housing payment of $86,000 per year. Key words here though, this excludes the cost of taxes, property taxes, and insurance. Let me just do a quick calculation for you guys. Let's assume you're buying a median price home in America at around $400,000. In my neck of the woods, which is in the greater Sacramento area, which is a common percentage here for California, our average property tax rate for an existing house, not a new home construction, is around 1.25%. This means you're buying a $400,000 home, your average property taxes for an older house is around 1.25% of your purchase price. If you're looking to buy a brand new house in Sacramento, for example, you're looking at around 1.5 to around 1.6% for your property taxes due to Melrose. That's an add-on to your property taxes here in California. In any case, at $400,000 at a 1.25% rate, you're looking at around $5,000 per year in property taxes. On top of that, add in insurance costs around $125 per month. Let's just call it $1,500 per year. So add on $1,500 per year. Sorry, $1,550, my mistake. Divide that by 12. That's around $545 per month on top of your principal and interest mortgage payment. So when accounting for the fact of your principal and interest payment, your mortgage payment, plus property taxes, plus home insurance, I'm guessing your qualifying income is well above $100,000 and not $86,000. And again, it depends on the price of the home you're looking at, but also the area as well. If you're in an area that has a wildfire zone or a hurricane zone, for example, or an area that's in a potential flood zone, your property insurance is likely much higher than that rate I quoted you, or not rate I quoted you, that figure I share with you guys. You're probably looking at a much higher rate as well. So in any case, I think this kind of proves our point here, saying that we have this huge housing affordability issue, which should impact home sales this year, just like it did last year, because a lot of people are priced out. They're opting not to buy a house because of this giant affordability hurdle that a lot of people are facing right now. So if this continues, if rates stay above 7%, then we'll likely see this affordability issue throughout 2024 as well. All right, there's a few more things I want to share with you guys. And first is this one right here. Here's a look at how each of the four biggest US regions fare, because there's some very big differences here. Of course, real estate is local, so the stats I'm sharing in today's video may not pertain to your neck of the woods, right? So in any case, looking at these four biggest regions here, or the four major regions here, active listings, this is the change of the number of houses for sale compared to February of 2023. It increased by 17% in the South, whereas the West decreased by 1%, the Northeast decreased by 4.2%, and the Midwest saw a gain. So very big differences here. Also, we saw a fairly big change here regarding the number of new listings, rising by double digits in the South and the West. In regards to the median list price, that increased the most in the Northeast, rising by 7.3%. Now, here's something I really like because I love looking at data in general, but looking at data compared to pre-COVID levels. So regarding that, you can see here, active listings down by double digits by at least 25 to 55%. It's just absolutely crazy. Also, new listings are down big time as well, down nearly 30% in the West, and the West down 33.5% in regards to housing inventory. Meanwhile, asking prices increased by at least 35% for each of these regions here, rising the most in the Northeast, up by nearly 50%. Absolutely crazy here. And also, as I mentioned here, days in the market is faster compared to 2017 through 19, except for the West. Houses taking about 1 day slower to sell compared to that same time frame. Whereas the Northeast, houses selling about 3 weeks faster. And last but not least, Realtor.com also provides these 50 biggest metros here regarding how each of them fared. And of course, I won't go over all these metros in today's video. Otherwise, this video would be 13 hours long. Instead, I'll provide a link in the video description below, just like I do for all my videos, so you can have a look at this report yourself here. Anyways, hope you guys have an awesome day. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.